Let's recite together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to the sublime, the victorious, the totally self-enlightened one. So we have been talking about karma, and so far until this session, we have explored a few aspects of karma. The first one, according to their function. If you remember, we have looked at productive karma, those that produced something, no? Like they produced a result, produced chitta, cittasika, and some kinds of rupa as well. Then we have another type that is supportive karma, that they don't actually produce something of their own, but they support what the productive karma have produced. Yeah, so that is another type. Then we have obstructive karma. So obstructive karma are those that obstruct the effect of what have been produced by the productive karma. And then we have destructive karma, which are the one who destroyed what have been produced and also produced it on its own result as well. So we have seen so far this, according to function, these four types. And then we have also looked at the order of giving result. So at the time of death, which one are going to give result first if the person is not an arahant yet. Yeah. So the first one that will give result is the weighty karma. If there is no weighty karma, then death proximate karma will give result. If there is no death proximate karma, then habitual karma will give result. If there is also no habitual karma, then reserve karma, any kind of karma that we have accumulated throughout samsara, any of those that have the potency to give the rebirth can give a result at that time. Okay. Then we have also looked at the time of giving result. So let's say any kind of karma being done at one point, then it can give result in the very present life. Those ones are called immediately effective karma, ditta dhamma vedaniya karma. And those karma that give result in the next life, immediately next life, are called subsequently effective karma, upapaja vedaniya karma. Then those that give result from the third life onwards throughout samsara anytime, those are called indefinitely effective karma, apara pariya vedaniya karma. Now, do you remember in terms of javana, in the 7 javanas in the mind thought process, in the viti, which one are those, which javana are the ones that will give result in the present life? Do you remember? Which javana? We talked about that.
The first one.
The first and the 7?
The first one, yeah. Only the first one, Claudia. The 7th, thank you, Apad. And Claudia, thank you. The 7th one is the one that actually give result in the next life. So the first javana, the 7th javana, and the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, right? So those 5 are going to give result anytime from the 3rd life onwards throughout samsara, yeah? So if they miss the chance of giving result, say the first javana was supposed to give result in the present life, but there was not enough conditions for it to give result during the present life, then what happens to it is that it will become a defunct karma, yeah, become ahosi. So say it's expired, it won't give result anymore. And also, if a person becomes an arahant at some point, then all the karma that he or she has accumulated throughout samsara will all become defunct, will become ahosi. So those ahosi karma are not a specific type, but those that will not give result anymore. Okay, so far we have talked about karma in these different aspects. So it was just like a revision to remind ourselves what we have looked at. Now today we are going to look at the place in which the effect of karma is going to take place. So we have learned that there are different realms. We have the 4 lower realms, the human realm, deva realm, material realms, and the immaterial realms. Yeah. So we have all these different places. So where are what kind of karma going to give result. Now, in terms of where it will take place, the karma is divided into 4 types, which we already know, actually. So the first type is akusala karma, unwholesome karma. Then we have kamma vachara kusala karma, wholesome karma pertaining to the sense sphere. Then we have rupa vachara kusala karma, wholesome karma pertaining to the fine material sphere. That's the jhana, the rupa vachara jhana, no? Karma. And then we have the arupa vachara kusala karma, wholesome karma pertaining to the immaterial sphere. Those are the jhana of the arupa vachara immaterial sphere. So these are the types of actions that a person or a being can do. No, akusala karma, kamma vachara kusala karma. Then if he or she practices as a human or deva or even Brahma, then rupa vachara or arupa vachara karma is also possible. Now, talking about places where they will give result, now we have to divide karma into these 4 categories. First, we are going to look at akusala karma. Now, last week, Claudia also said that can we have some example of how, like what kind of actions will give what kind of result and so on. Yeah. So today we are going to look at akusala karma. So we have some examples of what kind of akusala karma and how are they performed and what kind of result can they give when and where. So from this class onwards, we're going to look at karma in this way. So first today we're going to look at akusala karma. Now, when we studied earlier, when we studied the 10 course of unwholesome action, we have already gone through this akusala karma, this material. So I think it will be easy for you to understand. For akusala karma, as you may remember, it is divided into different categories. We have 3 physical action, no? Kaya karma, 3 physical unwholesome actions. And there are 4 verbal unwholesome actions, vaji karma. And then we have 3 mental unwholesome action, mano karma. So altogether, 10 types of unwholesome, 10 course of unwholesome actions. First category we're going to look at are the kaya karma, physical action, unwholesome action. The first one, panatipata. So for panatipata, killing living beings, like last week, we have talked about that it is very specific in the Buddha's teaching of what means by killing a living being. The 5 constituent factors must be completed in order for the action to be called killing. Now, the first one is there must be a living being. Yeah. Then the second one is that one knows that it is a being. So say there is a living being, but I didn't know it was alive. I thought it was a rock. Then there was a living being, but I didn't know that it is a living being. Yeah. So the first factor, there's a living being. I must know that it is alive. It is a living being. Then we need the intention of killing someone, the cetana, no? That's important, wanting to kill it. And one really does the effort to try to kill it. And the last point is, as consequent, that being died. So if these 5 points are being completed, that's considered killing. So if any one of these points is not completed, then it might not be considered as this panatipata. Yeah. Okay. So I think previously I have shared with you the word panatipata. Panatipata is an interesting word. We translated it as killing, no? But if we look at the Pali word, it actually means cutting the lifespan of a being short. So in a sense, we can understand from the word that everyone is going to die anyway at some point, no? But the killing is the cutting short of the lifespan of the jivita of a being. That is called killing. So this word panatipata have this meaning. Now, the second one is adina dana. Taking what is not given. Taking what is not given, of course, includes stealing and robbing, but it also includes taking what is not being given. So for example, sometimes when we get on a plane, there are these like pillows and blankets and so those are not to be taken, no, but no one gave them to us, but some people do take them away. So that is also considered adinadana, taking what is not given. Or sometimes just simply very simple action. We went to the market and then we said, without asking the owner, then we some peanuts are there, we just tried before buying. So those are also considered taking what is not being given. So the best and easy way is just to ask. Then if something is given, like just ask the shopkeeper, can I taste it? And if they say yes, then it's okay. Then it's not taking what is not being given, no? So it's easy to avoid, actually. Okay, now when we talk about these unwholesome actions, unwholesome kamma, there are two levels of kamma that we should need to consider. The first one is called not a full course, and the second one is called a full course. So what does that mean? Now I'll give you an example with, let's say, adinadana, taking what is not being given. So there must be first a property of other, something that belongs to other. Now, so if a person, he knows that there is something that belongs to other, say a neighbor's car, and then he think, oh, it is so cool, I wish to have one. So in this case, he's just thinking that the car that belongs to someone is really nice and I'd like to have one. So only in that case, lobha arises in his mind, yeah, but he didn't do any action at the moment. Then later on, to complete the stealing, first, he knows that the car belonged to his neighbor. And then next, he had the intention, I wish to make it mine. So he has the intention to take it. Then later on, he puts some effort to really try to steal it. And as a result, the car has been taken away. So in that case, the full course of this action has been completed. There was a property of the others. He knows that it belongs to others and he has the intention to steal it, and he take the effort to steal it, and it is stolen. So in that case, the stealing, this adinadana action, is said to be completed. So this is called a full course kamma. In case some of these points are not completed, let's say he tries, takes an effort to steal it, he didn't succeed in stealing it. So then in this case, it will not be a full course of adinadana, not a full course of stealing. He tried, but he didn't. So one of the points were not completed. Now let's look at the point again for stealing. So there must be property that belongs to other. Then one is conscious that it belongs to another. Then we have the intention of stealing, the effort to steal, and the actual removal or the actual stealing of the thing. Sorry, it is moving along. The actual stealing is completed. Then in that case, it is called a full course kamma, fully completed. Okay, so next we'll look at kammesu miccachara, sexual misconduct. Now, kammesu miccachara is not respecting one's own commitment or the commitment of others. So it depends on the person to which this unwholesome action is to be committed with. Yeah. Okay. So it also included those people that are being protected by others, by the parents, by the guardians. So say young people that are underage or people that cannot decide for themselves. Okay, so there are 4 constituent factors to complete the action of sexual misconduct. First is the person that is committed to another person or being protected by someone else. And the second one is the sexual desire, that is the mind to enjoy the intention. Yeah. Then the effort, the attempt to do so, and the sexual conduct itself. So if this is completed, it is considered as kammesu miccachara. This one of the 10 course of unwholesome action. Okay, so with this, we complete the 3 unwholesome kaya kamma. Next, we'll go to the 4 verbal action, waji kamma. In the same way, we will look at what constitute musawada. So musawada includes lying, saying what is not true, also minimizing the truth or exaggerating the truth. And so there are 4 constituent factors for this action. The first one is there must be something untrue. Then the intention to tell lies. Then we have the corresponding effort, meaning the utterance of it, the saying of what is not true, and the communication of the matter to the others. So this point is important. If there is something is not true, but the person is not saying it to anyone else, it's just saying, let's say he or she is taking a shower and saying something to no one, then that is not considered, in this case, musawada. Then the next one is called pisuna wacha, slandering and divisive speech. So that's dividing people, like people that are friends, that they are together, and someone says something in order to separate them. So the constituent factors are 4. First one is people or person to be divided. And the second one is intention to separate them, the corresponding effort in saying something, and then the people, they got divided. So in that case, that's considered slandering. Okay. Now we go to farusa wacha, harsh speech. There are 3 constituent factors for harsh speech. The first one is a person to be abused. Second one, an angry thought or angry mind, and the actual abusing, actually saying those harsh words. No, so with these 3, it is considered completed a full course of action of harsh speech. Okay, now let's go to the last point of unwholesome verbal action, vain talk, samva falapa. Now, these are talks that are not beneficial to anyone, and it's just, in a way, wasting others people's time. Therefore, it is considered as an unwholesome action. So we are talking about things that do not make any kind of benefit, but may even encourage defilements to arise. So for these to become a full course action, first we need the inclination or tendency towards useless or unprofitable talks. So that's the first point. And the second one is narration. So really saying those kind of things. So this is actually, my teacher said, the one that is most difficult, because sometimes people think that we gather together, we need to say something, and sometimes it's some jokes or talk about this and that, something that is not very constructive. In that case, that will be considered as frivolous or vain talk. Okay, so until here, we have looked at what are the constituent points of the 3 unwholesome physical action and the 4 verbal unwholesome action. So far, everything okay? Yes? Okay, that's quite easy to understand. Yes, Amar?
I have one question. Can you show some comparison between Sankara and kamma? There are also 3 Sankaras, right? Kaya Sankara, Vachi Sankara, and Mano Sankara.
Actually, the word Sankara and kamma, in some contexts, they are synonym. In some
right, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In this case,
so I just would like to know, in the process, I think the Sankara will become kamma only after this 3 raga dvesa or moha arises, right? There are Sankara which actually won't be kamma, right?
Actually,
not all the Sankara will be kamma, right?
Or if we talk about Sankara in the context of kamma, when they are synonym, let's say here, Kaya Sankara, Vaji Sankara, Mano Sankara, in that case, when they are synonym, then they are all kamma. Because in order to do an unwholesome physical action, unwholesome verbal action, or unwholesome mental action, there must be unwholesome mind. Yeah. So as you said, lova, dosa, and moha must arise. Yeah. Without those, one is not able to perform any kind of this unwholesome action. So they are together. So any kind of action that is unwholesome whether you call it Sankara or whether you call it kamma in the sense of unwholesome action, those are all, it always constitute kamma because they are causes and they will give result, right? So
no, I thought in if you go to like this Paticca Samutpada, right? Abhijja Pachaya Sankara, right? But I thought the Sankara will become kamma only if it goes all the way through to bhava, right? If you can stop at feeling, then it will not be kamma, right?
Now, when we talk about Paticca Samuppada in chapter 8, we are going to go into details. Avijja Paccaya Sankara, that Sankara is synonym as kamma.
But that will not become a kamma if like one stops at the feeling, right?
No, it is kamma.
If panya arises at the feeling, then it will not become a kamma, right? It will not become a
Now, when we look
right?
at the Paticca Samuppada, I think it's a little bit early that we are talking about this, but the first two link is Avijja Paccaya Sankara. That one is belong to the past life, Amar. We have to see also the time. Right. Yeah. So therefore, because of past karma, then Avijja Paccaya Sankara, Paccaya Vijnana. That Vijnana means Patisandhi. So we have to see the time. So obviously that Sankara is a karma that gives result to Vijnana Patisandhi. Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so when we look at the Paticca Samuppada, the dependent origination in chapter 8, it will become more clear. But be careful of the word Sankara. Sometimes it is synonym as kamma, as in this case, the Paticca Samuppada that you are talking about. But sometimes remember in the 5 aggregates, Sankara, in that sense, it means only the 50 cetasikas, right?
Right.
So be careful with this word. We have to see it in terms of context.
No, in Sankara is 50 Chetashika, but within that, the Chetana is already there. So, but as you said, the Chetana is the kamma, right?
Chetana is kamma.
The 50, yeah. So in that 50 Chetashika, 50 Chetasikas are Sankara, right?
It's included.
Right.
It's included. But of course, not only Chetanam is Sankara. In that context, in the 5 aggregate context, all the 50 Chetasika are called Sankara in that sense. Okay? Later on, we will talk more about the difference because Sankara, this word, it has a lot of...
I understand the synonym part, but I don't understand the subtle difference between... There's a subtle difference, right, between Sankara and kamma. That subtleness I was trying to understand where, like, Sankara will become kamma and where it will not become kamma.
Now, when it is synonym as kamma, it is synonym. So it is kamma itself. There is no difference. Sankara and kamma is the same in that case when we are talking about, let's say, in Paticca Samuppada. Yeah, but in some other context, this word Sankara can mean other things. So at that time, it does not mean kamma, depending on the context.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for the question. Okay. Anyone else?
I also had one question on physical, the part of it.
Yes.
So on the 5 constituents, right, there are the instance where, like, you are not directly doing the act. Let's say, like, for the dying beings, right? If, for example, in the case of, let's say, you have a pet and who's like a, old, suffering, and you feel compassionate and you give it to, doctor, and doctor will kill that. So whose action will be like, that kind of situation where I'm not responsible for physically committing. I had a compassionate and I took it to doctor and doctor killed it. So basically the euthanasia case, right?
Yes. Now, this point we will also come to in a little bit later, but just now I would want to address what you are talking about. This part sometimes is difficult for someone to accept, but I'm very sorry to tell that according to my teacher's explanation, that is also considered killing. So there is nothing that is called compassionate killing, because killing is always killing. Compassion is compassion. There is no compassion killing.
But
so
the owner did kill, right? Doctor killed
he didn't
it.
kill, but now we have to understand that some killing sometimes is not being done by physically. It can be done by words also. So say I don't kill someone, but I ask someone, I pay someone to kill, but that is also considered killing. I didn't do it with my own hands, but I did it with my mouth. I tell the other person to do so. So that would be through speaking, not through physical action, but that is also considered killing. Now, another important.
So how about the action of a doctor then?
The action of the doctor, that's killing too.
Yeah.
Because he knows the living being is alive, and he has the intention to inject, and he knows that this will cause the death of the animal, right? And he did it, and he has the effort to put the injection, and as a result, the animal died. So that is also considered killing. Yeah. So for this compassionate, what we sometimes call compassionate killing, my teacher says that the compassion that we have for the animal, it's other types of it happens in other thought processes. When we love the animal, when we take care of the animal, those are a beautiful mind state. But in the actual thought of wanting to end its suffering, that those kind of thoughts are actually dosa. So our teacher says that it is because we cannot tolerate the suffering of the animal. So that's aversion towards that situation, and we want it to finish. We want it to end. That's actually dosa working. So for killing all the time, it is because of dosa. Of course, in other mental processes, there are compassion, there are love, there are kindness, but in terms of the killing or during that process or during that decision, that's also dosa is present. All right. Okay. Now let's continue. Yes, Claudia?
Yeah, just a quick one. Like in the few slides earlier, it seems that the chance to do a good kamma is greater than to do a bad one. Because, like you have a kusala, then you have 3 awesome kamma. But why it is very difficult? It is so difficult to do. It is more easy to do akusala than kusala. If you can go back, maybe.
Okay.
Yes, this one there.
Okay. Well, now, okay. Yes, there are 3 kusala, but why is it difficult? That's easy to understand, because if we do kamma-vachara, wholesome kamma pertaining to the sense sphere, which is like the opposite of the unwholesome kamma, that's 1-to-1. Yeah. But to practice, we know how difficult it is to attain jhana. This is talking about rupa jhana and arupa jhana. Yeah. So it takes a lot of effort, a lot of concentration, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of persistence and practicing. No, so that's not easy. We know. Yeah. Now about akusala and kusala, these two. Why is akusala more easy? Yeah. So there it was an example that Dalai Lama said. I think because doing kusala, it needs effort. Yeah. So I will just say the example that Dalai Lama said first. He says that to do good is like pulling a donkey uphill in the Himalayas. Now, to do bad is like standing on top of the Himalayas and kick a stone down. So that's the difference. So imagine to pull a donkey uphill, how much effort, how much discipline, how much you need to try to do it. Yeah, because we have to do good is not easy. Although sometimes we think that it's so nice to do good, of course, but we really have to do it. And it takes effort, it takes discipline, it takes time, it takes many things. But akusala is so easy. Even if we don't do nothing, the mind is like, I want this, I want that, I don't like this, I don't like that. How easy is that? It does not require much effort to do akusala, no? So unfortunately, it is in this way. But kusala is definitely more powerful. Just the amount of effort and the amount of wisdom that require for us to do wholesome deeds, then we understand they are more powerful. They have the power to eradicate unwholesome mind, eradicate defilements. With wisdom, can totally destroy ignorance. It can totally destroy greed, totally destroy anger, aversion. It has this power. But unwholesome mind, although they are strong, they can never destroy kusala. It is not of their nature. They can be free range and run around and don't give chance for kusala to arise. That's possible, but they are not strong enough, and they will never be able to destroy kusala. So that's different also. So something precious, something strong is more expensive. No, we need to pay more effort to get it. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we'll go to the manokamma. Now, the first unwholesome mental action is avijja, covetousness. Covetousness means wanting what the other one has. So thinking that what the other person has is better than mine, and I want what they have. Yeah. So this is like wanting everything for me, no? Okay. In this case, the two constituent factor of avijja, covetousness, is another's property. We need to have someone's property to compare with, and just the mind thinking that may this be mine. Just that. With just that, I hope that was mine. That already completed the action of mental unwholesome action. Also, we thought of it, covetousness. So this covetousness is the total opposite of mudita, of sympathetic joy, of others' success, of others' good situation. No, so when one have a strong wish, a strong desire to possess others' property, then that becomes covetousness. But sometimes if that desire is not that strong, I just thought, oh, it's what she has is so nice, just that. But I didn't think that I wish that may that be mine. Or I didn't wish that. Then in that case, that was just ordinary lobha. It's not avijja. Okay. All right. So that's the first unwholesome mental action. The second one is the ill will. So ill will is actually the mind of wishing harm or affliction to other beings. So some times ago, when I was preparing these slides, I searched on internet and found some greeting cards, a little bit terrible kind of greeting cards. It says, "I'm pleased you are 1 year closer to death for a birthday," or like for graduation, "I hope you never find a job," or for Christmas, it says, "Wishing you a miserable Christmas." So if these things really exist online, so people really do think about this thing, that means. So that is just the expression of ill will, of wanting other to have harm or affliction or suffering. No? So this kind of mind is called vyabhada, ill will. So for this to be complete, we need, of course, another being and the thought of doing harm. So only with these two, then the action of vyabhada, mental action of ill will, is being completed. Okay, so that's the second one. Let's go to the third one. Now for miccha ditthi, wrong view, we have seen previously that there are many kinds of different divisions of wrong view. Yeah. So wrong view here, what it means, it's not just any kind of ordinary wrong view, like the Sakkaya ditthi, the view of self. When the view of self, we all have this view of self, until we totally eradicate ditthi in Sotapanna stage. No, so those kind of wrong view is not, of course, it is still unwholesome, but it is not this included in the 10 kind of unwholesome course of action. Now, in the Majjhima Nikaya, Mahachattarika Sutta, there are 10 kinds of wrong views are being mentioned in this sutta. Now, I quote the translation of this sutta, one part of it. It says, "And what is wrong view? There's no meaning in giving small or big offerings. There is no fruit or result of good and bad deeds. There is no afterlife. There are no result in good or bad deeds done to one's mother and father. No beings are reborn spontaneously. And there's no ascetic or recluse who have well practiced and attained who describes that this life and that after realized it with his own insight." So basically here, that is considered what is wrong view in this sutta. So meaning that the rejection of any kind of dana, any kind of the generosity, any kind of giving big or small offerings, there is no meaning of that. And the result of good and bad deeds. So if I do kusala, if I do akusala, no result is going to happen. If I do good to my mother, there's no merit. If I do bad to my mother or father, then there is nothing wrong about it. So this kind of beliefs, and also the not understanding that there are different kinds of beings that are reborn spontaneously. Like here, maybe talking about the devas and the brahmas, and then there are so basically practicing jhana will not attain to those stages because those beings does not exist. And there are no ascetics or recluse or beings that practiced well and attained some kind of attainment or enlightenment after they realize with their own insight. So that means that rejecting all these kind of things is considered as wrong view in this sutta. Now, we have to remember that in suttas, the Buddha explained the Dhamma according to the person who is listening to that sutta. Yeah. So it depends who the Buddha is talking to. So if he's talking to a person that he knows that he needs to understand these points, then he talk about these points specifically. So therefore, sutta and abhidhamma are different in this way, because abhidhamma, we talk about general anatomy of the mind, or how the mind works. So it applies to everyone. Everyone is the same. But for sutta, sometimes you may see that the Buddha only talked about 3 kind of wrong views. Sometimes he talked about 10. And even in the Brahmajala Sutta, he talked about 62 kinds of wrong views. So it really depends on the audience. Then the Buddha see what he or she needs, then he talks about it. So here, well, this is just one example of wrong view. But the main point here is we can summarize like this paragraph of what it actually wants to say into 3 kinds of wrong view. Now, the first one is having the view of uncausedness or randomness of existence and phenomena. That is called ahetuka ditthi, meaning that there is no cause or conditions for defilements or any purification of beings. Beings are defiled and purified by chance or by fate. So this kind of idea is included into this ahetuka ditthi, meaning no cause, just random. It happens by chance. So this kind of idea is a more serious wrong view. And another kind of more serious wrong view is the view of inefficacy of action, meaning whatever we do, there is no effect, kriya ditthi. There is no result in whatever good or bad we do. So you can do anything you like because no result is going to happen. So that kind of belief is another kind of more serious wrong view. And the next one is called the view of nihilism. Sometimes it's called natika ditthi. So the belief that death is the complete destruction. There is nothing after death, so enjoy and do whatever you wish. So this is the kind of no cause and no effect, this kind of view. So why is it dangerous? Why is this kind of view dangerous? Because if we think that there is nothing after, we can do whatever we want and just enjoy, then there is no restraint. Yeah. So in this case, the mind is more prompt to do whatever kind of akusala is possible. So therefore, it is very dangerous. Now, these 3 kinds of views, basically, we can summarize it as the belief of no cause, the belief of no effect, and the view of no cause, no effect. So all these three types are the most dangerous kind of wrong view. Sometimes we call it niyata micchaditi, like the fixed wrong view. They are dangerous because with this kind of very, very strong unchangeable idea of these ideas, unchangeable ideas of this view, then one have no respect for morality. In that case, if there is no respect for morality, what happened is that one will do a lot of akusala, and that will all kinds of actions is planting seed. No, so the more akusala a person does, then the more bad result is going to happen. So that's why it is very serious and is considered as an unwholesome mental action. Yes, Claudia?
Yeah, regarding the first wrong view, it's also true that I heard many people say, oh, this happened for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
This happened because, because it's meant to happen, right? Because it was my destiny, let's say.
Okay, so it really very much depends on what that person actually believed in or the view of it. Because if the person is saying that this thing is bound to happen because it is my karma, because I did something good or bad in the past, and then this is bound to happen because when conditions are right, then this is going to happen. Then in that case, it's right. What he or she is saying is right, yeah. But if the person is saying that in a superstitious way, or I'm really gonna go get bad luck because I saw a black cat today, or something like that, then in those cases that might involve superstition and all those, then it might not be right in those cases, no, because those are not the correct causes. No? Like seeing a black cat is not a cause for some unwholesome result to happen, right? So then that might be considered a wrong view, but not this kind of serious wrong view. When we talk about when it is become the very serious wrong view that can lead us to rebirth in the willful state, those kind of very strong wrong view are those that denied morality. Those that think doing good is useless, and so they are intolerant of doing any kind of good, and then they are more tendency to do bad and thinks that if I do bad, it doesn't matter. So those kind of very fixed idea of there is no cause and effect, those are considered the serious miccha ditti here. Okay. All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Amar?
There are like a lot of people, for example, like, even scientists, they don't believe in afterlife, right? So, but they don't perform akusala kamma.
In that case, it can still be wrong view, but not serious wrong view.
Okay.
Yeah. So even all of us who are not enlightened yet, we have wrong view, no? So wrong view are of many categories. We have Sakaya Ditti. We still believe that I exist. We still believe that this nama and rupa is I. And so this is also a kind of wrong view, right? So there are many different degrees of wrong view. Some are more serious and some are less serious. All right, let's continue with the two constituent factors to complete the action of wrong view. Now here, this wrong view, we're talking about the very serious kind of wrong view that denies morality. So a perverted manner in which object is viewed. So these people, they look at the reality or things in a perverted manner, thinking that morality is not necessary. So the understanding of reality according to that misconception is what is wrong view here. So with these two constituent factors, this very serious wrong view is considered a full course of action. Yeah. Okay, so now we have finished with all the different aspects or the constituent factors of all the 10 courses of unwholesome action. Now let's take a look of their roots. Yeah. So with physical action, we have killing, taking what is not given, sexual misconduct. Verbal, we have lying, slandering, harsh speech, vain talk. And for the mind, we have covetousness, ill will, and wrong view. Now, this division is only general. We say it is general because, as we were saying right now, like Ahmad said, sometimes we kill, but we don't do it with our own hands. So say we ask someone to do it. So in that case, the killing can be done by words as well. So therefore, in this division, it's only general. So maybe we steal something. We also not necessarily we do it ourselves. We can ask someone to go do it. Yeah. So we ask someone to steal something. So that is still considered stealing, although it is not performed physically by oneself. Now here, there is one point that I want to share with you that is important, is that sometimes even we don't do the action ourselves, and when we didn't even have the intention to do it, but when we see someone did something bad, and then we rejoiced on what they did, and we thought, oh, so great. Let's say someone steal something from someone, and he or she was successful in it, and then we say, yes, you did it. That was so good. So in that case, we also get that stealing karma, because we agree and we rejoice on what was being done, that wrong that was being done. So be very careful about this, because if we rejoice, just like when we share merits, when we rejoice in what the good that the other person did, then we generate this kusala mind, no? So we also get this merit of this good deed. So in the same way, for wrongdoing, for unwholesome action, is the same. If we rejoice and then we think, oh, that's so good that you did that, we also get that bad karma, that unwholesome karma. So that is one point that we need to know, so that in our daily life we will be careful, and whatever other people done unwholesome, do not try to praise or agree with what they did. Otherwise, we also get that unwholesome karma. Okay, now let's take a look at the roots. We have also talked about this, but this is important, so we'll just repeat a little bit. Now, for killing and harsh speech and ill will, we have said, it only happens with dosa. It only happens with dosa. So they are dosa-rooted, aversion-rooted. Now, with sexual misconduct, covetousness, and wrong view, they are always associated with lobha group. They're lobha-rooted. For lying, the other ones, slandering, vain talk, and taking what is not given, in this case, it can't either be lobha or dosa rooted, because we can say something untrue because we want something, or we can say something untrue because we want to harm the other person. Yeah, so it can be either with lobha root or with dosa root. It is possible. In the same way, for slandering, vain talk, also it is the same way. And taking what is not given, stealing, when generally we will think that it is lobha, no, because we want something. We take something that does not belong to us. But sometimes there are some people that take something because they want to harm someone. They don't want that thing actually, but they just want the other person not to have it. So that's from dosa root. That is also possible, right? So for these four, it is possible that it can based on both either lobha or dosa, also possible. And of course, moha is always there, yeah? Universal, unwholesome cetasika, always associated with moha. Okay, so now we have finished with the unwholesome actions. Now we are going to look at where does the effect of this unwholesome action take place, yeah? So now we have to know that all kinds of karma, they give result at 2 times. So during patisandhi, during rebirth moment, as well as during lifetime. So karma can give result in patisandhi time at rebirth time as a new life that generates the next life, or during lifetime as eye consciousness, ear, nose, tongue, touch consciousness, as well as the receiving, investigating consciousness, together with its cetasika. So all kinds of vipaka citas and cetasikas during lifetime, and also some kind of rupa generated by karma as well, yeah? So let's take a look. What are those? Like, how do we experience this unwholesome karma, the result of unwholesome karma during lifetime? That will be when we see something not agreeable sound, unagreeable sound, unagreeable taste, unagreeable smell or touch or pain, like that. All those things are akusala vipaka, the result of previous unwholesome karma that we are experiencing in this lifetime. But the important point is those are effects that the cause have already been made previously. Now we're experiencing this effect. Now how we react to this when we taste something bad or when we encounter some unpleasant sight or unpleasant smell, unpleasant experience, how do we react to it? That's the important point, because those our reaction to those are the new karma that we are generating. If we react to it with anger, then we are accumulating more akusala, more akusala action, then later on more akusala result is going to happen. Then if we try to understand it, accept it, and look at it with wisdom, then we are reacting to it with wholesome mind, with kusala mind. So those are kusala karma that we're doing at this moment, which later on kusala result is going to happen. So whatever we have done that we are experiencing right now, those effects that we cannot change, but our attitude towards that effect we can change, and that is the important point. Yeah. Okay. So let's get back to the unwholesome karma that give result during patisandhi and during lifetime. Now, when it gives result as patisandhi, the place where it will give result will be the 4 lower realm, the woeful state. That means any kind of unwholesome action, unwholesome karma, if it gives result during rebirth time as a patisandhi chitta, then it will always take place in the 4 lower planes. So all beings in the woeful state, they are reborn with an akusala vipaka patisandhi chitta, no? So unwholesome resultant rebirth consciousness. So it is because of an unwholesome action, that's why they are reborn into the woeful state. So unwholesome action, when it gives birth, when it gives a rebirth, it always takes place in the 4 lower plane. But when it gives result in lifetime, it can happen in the woeful state, in the human plane, in the deva realm, or even in the fine material plane, except asanyasata. Now, remember, asanyasata are the non-percipient beings. Yeah, they only have rupa, no mind, right? Those kind of Brahma. So for them, they cannot experience the because there's no consciousness, right? So this akusala vipaka chitta cannot arise in them. So therefore, they cannot experience the unwholesome karma that they have done previously as an non-percipient being. But for other beings, it's possible. Say human being, just like right now when we say, when we encounter unpleasant experience, those are the result of akusala karma that is giving result during lifetime, during our lifetime. And for devas as well, they also experience some kind of unpleasant things. Then we may say, fine material plane, then what can they experience? Everything is quite nice there, no? So for the Brahmas, if you have read some sutta, then you may see that there are situations when the Brahma, during the time of the Buddha, they come down to the human realm and they listen to the Buddha's teaching, right? So there are occasions where those fine material Rupa Brahma, they arrive to the human world and they might see something unpleasant for them. The human world is not very pleasant, and they may hear something not nice. Sometimes some people say something. So those are the time when they experience the akusala vipaka, the unwholesome resultant at that time. But for fine material beings, remember, they have no nose, tongue, and touch consciousness, no? They only have eye consciousness and ear consciousness, right? So if it happens to them, only these 2 kinds of akusala vipaka chitta, eye consciousness or ear consciousness, can happen to them. The others cannot for the fine material beings. Okay, so for place, talking about place where it takes place, patisandhi, rebirth, for rebirth only in the lower plane, and for result in lifetime, lower plane, human plane, deva plane, and fine material plane. Okay, now remember when we talked about the stealing in the first part of today's session, we talked about the full course and not full course action. Yeah. Now, why is this important? That's because the 10 course of unwholesome action, when it becomes a full course, it has the power to generate a rebirth result. Then if it is not a full course action, then it will generate result during lifetime. Okay, so let's take the stealing again as an example. Now, unwholesome bodily action stealing. Say the person, he really stole the car and completed. He had the intention, he have the effort, and he know that it was the property of the other, and he really did it, and he really stole the car. Full course of action. Because of this stealing action that is totally completed has the potential to generate a rebirth in the lower realm. It is possible because it is a full course action. Now, the other person, he only thought about it. He didn't do it. So in that case, some kind of unwholesome result is going to happen, but not at Patisandhi time. It can be in the lifetime, during lifetime, in this present life, in the next life, or in from the third life onwards throughout samsara is possible. Anytime is possible. So some kind of result during lifetime, it will happen. So he might encounter, maybe he will lost his wallet, or he will lost something, or something might happen to him during lifetime, but not rebirthed in this case. Now here, what we need to pay attention is that although in this case, concerning bodily action stealing, it is not a full course action, right? So what is going to happen is that if this full course action is going to give result, in the willful state. But for this not full course action, just only thought about it, thinking about it, didn't really complete the action. Result can happen in the willful state if he later on, if he was reborn as a willful being, being in the willful state, as in the human realm, in the Deva realm, in the Brahma realm, that is also possible. Okay, now when he thought that I wish to make this mine, he only thought about it. He didn't really steal it, so it's not a full course of stealing. But because he has a strong greed for another's property, the unwholesome mental action of covetousness actually was completed. Yeah. So in terms of the physical action of stealing, it was not a full course. But mental action, it was a full course. He did thought about it. Okay. So in this case, in terms of mental action, covetousness, avijja, it is a full course. Then what will be considered as not a full course? And when it is, let's say, someone just has lobha, just thought I wish to have something like that, but I didn't wish to steal it. No, didn't wish to have the property of the other one. So in that case, as unwholesome full course mental action, this can still give a patisandhi result. But this one will give result in lifetime. Okay, so that's the difference. Like when the action is fully completed, it has the potential of giving a patisandhi result, rebirth result. And when it is not a full course action, then the result will be will take effect during lifetime. Okay, so up to here is all the content that I have prepared for today about unwholesome action. Next time, we are going to look at the wholesome action, where the constituent factors, and it's also very interesting because it informs us of how we can do an action, wholesome action in a more efficient way or a better way. Because just like there is full course and not full course, for the wholesome part, there are also ways of how we do the action in terms of time, in terms of our attitude, how we can make it better so it can give better result. And also where it can give result in which realm. Also, we will talk about that wholesome karma next week, because if we start today, then we're not going to finish within the time. So we'll better stop here. Okay, so now if you have any questions that we can discuss, Amar, you have your hand raised.
So which is there like we have 10 unwholesome kamma, right? So is there like a correlation between like let's say like killing with land up and one of which four?
Most of the time, it is said that if a person passed away with more dosa, then it's more likely that they will be reborn into the hell realm. If it is more with the loba, then it's more, or attachment, then it's more likely that they will be reborn into the peta realm. And if and if it is with more moha, then it is likely to be reborn into the animal realm. But that is not fixed, because it really depends on the karma of that person. And also the tendency of the person. So many different factors for that to happen. But generally, it is said like that.
So it's not a particular action per se, it's a root, basically, right? I mean, there are like, all kinds of action, but the root is different, right? So it's more of a root than the action, right?
But more about the mind. Yeah, depends on the chetana, no?
Right.
If a person gets born in the human realm with a disability, is it not at the patisandhi moment which it gets decided? So when the akusala ripens?
Now, a person, if a person reborn into the human realm, no matter whether it is with disability or not, a human is still a human. So it is still a result of a wholesome karma. Because it is a sugati, no? It's a good realm, no? But the kusala that gave the rebirth to that person was not good enough. Let's say it's not powerful enough to give that person all the capability or all the conditions or everything. So next week we are going to talk about this precisely, because next week we are going to talk about wholesome action. So we will see when the wholesome action is being performed, how is it being performed? Say someone performed the wholesome action but later regret. That's also possible, no? I did something good, but later I shouldn't have do that. That was I was so silly, right? So if a person regret of the good that he has done, then that good that he has done, the quality become less. Yeah. So if
could it be that it so could it be that it still, when you get born as a human, it is still in the stomach or in the womb where this kamma results? When you get born as a human, and then I'm not sure.
Now, when the patisandhi chitta, we're only talking about one chitta, the rebirth consciousness. No, after chuti, after the last life dying consciousness, patisandhi immediately arises. Yeah. So if it was reborn as the human being, so this human being will be it must be wholesome resultant. Must be, because it's a human. In the human realm, it's always a result of a wholesome karma that we have done previously. But if a person is born with this capability, then most probably that karma, that good karma, is not strong enough to give them to give this person the good roots. So it may be a rootless wholesome resultant. So in that case, then the person might be reborn with some kind of disability, or conditions are not good, so they can be born as no-rooted being, no roots. If the kusala karma is stronger, then it will give root to a 2-rooted or 3-rooted patisandhi, rebirth consciousness. Then it will be better. It will be a different lifetime, no? So that rebirth consciousness is being decided by the previous karma. Now, when the person already passed the patisandhi chitta arise, and then other chitta will arise, no? Even if the baby is in the womb for 9 months. So during that time, still he or she is developing the eye, developing the body, developing many other things. So at those times, it depends on the other kusala or akusala that the person or that the being have done previously, if the supportive karma is good or not. So the supportive karma is very good supportive karma, then it may support a very good condition. The mother is very healthy. The food that the mother eats is very good. So the nutrient is very good, or whatever it may be. So those will be supportive karma that support that patisandhi chitta. Or there might be obstructive karma. Then the mother ate something wrong, and because of that, the baby got some problem, something. No, so obstructive karma also possible. So those are the karma that will continue happening during lifetime. Is that clear? Yeah, next week we will talk about this in more detail. Precisely, we will talk about what kind of actions, how we do it in order that it will generate 2 roots result, 3 roots result, or no roots at all. So that will be important. Yes, Mila.
I just wanted to ask about killing. So for example, if you take medication for like a deworming medication or something, or if you give it to your pet, is that considered killing?
Yes, unfortunately, yes, it is killing. If we want to know whether it considered as killing or not, then we just check the 5 constituent points. If we know, we're conscious that it is a living being, and then that we have the intention. I mean, there is a living being. It might be a bug or whatever it may be. Then we are conscious that it is alive, and then we have the intention to kill it, and then we do the effort, buying the medicine or whatever to kill it, and then we did, and because of this action, that being died. So if these 5 points is completed, then it is a killing. But maybe, of course, it might not be. There are also how can I say, seriousness of things, no? Like the more, the bigger the being is, the karma will be worse, no, will be stronger. That's also because when, let's say, killing an elephant, then you will take a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of, even just talking about the effort and time, it will take much longer than to, let's say, kill an ant, which is present and it died, no? So in terms of that karma that is accumulated with that huge being is so much more dosa during the time, let's say the 2 hours or whatever during the time, then the, let's say 15 seconds or whatever. So that also counts. And also it depends on the being as well. If it is a noble being, that is very bad. Of course, all killing is unwholesome, but how serious it is depends on the quality of the being, whether it has a good morality, whether it is a noble being, and also all this, no? Like, so the higher quality of the being, then the worse the karma will be.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I guess that makes me think about all the beings that like live within our bodies. I read somewhere that there's like over 1 kilo or something of like different bacteria and like whatnot and stuff on your skin.
Bacteria are not considered living beings, because bacteria are generated by conditions. So when there are conditions, then their bacteria arise, but they do not breathe. They are not living being. In the Theravada Buddhist tradition, they are not conscious being. They don't have chitta, no. So in the meditation center, one time one yogi asked the teacher, I bought some washing powder and it says that kill bacteria 100%, and should I use it or not? She said no. So then teacher explained that the bacteria are not considered living beings, so she can use that washing powder without any problem. And also because if you wash your clothes, you're also not trying to kill anyone. You're just trying to wash the clothes. The intention is different also, no? So when we clean ourselves, when you take a shower, it's not that I'm thinking, I'm going to kill all this bacteria, I'm going to kill all this living being on my body. It's also not that, which is the intention is to clean ourselves. So as far as we are alive, from time to time, sometimes something is inevitable, no? Even if we are vegetarian, if we eat vegetables, but in the process of growing vegetables, maybe some worms get harmed, maybe some, like the plowing, or some insects get harmed, some bugs. So it's never 100%, but we try our best not to do anything intentionally. That's the chetana, not intention, is more important.
Yeah, and one more question. Sorry, Delawar.
No problem.
So like euthanasia, like when you want to kill yourself, like if you're really sick, is that considered breaking the precept?
Of Panatipata. I think suicide is not Panatipata, but if it is someone else, if you help someone do that, say someone is very sick and then he or she wants to do that, and then we help, then that's killing, because we know that that's a living being, what we are going to do, although it is his or her wish to do so. But if we help, that's considered killing also. But killing oneself is, I think it is not. Yeah, but I have to confirm the teacher.
So technically, if you want to do that, because I think right now it's like it's a few steps. So first they put you to sleep, then they stop your heart. So like, can you do that? You're like all 4 steps yourself somehow, so that nobody has to do it for you.
Someone
Not that I'm
right.
Probably. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. But of course, killing oneself, it does not consider as Panatipata, but it does not mean that it is not an unwholesome karma also, no? So
yeah,
because the depends on the state of mind. If it is because of dosa, intolerate of I am sick of this sickness, I can't stand this anymore, then that's dosa, right? So with that dosa mind, then it is unwholesome karma for sure. And so it really very much at the end depends on the quality of the mind.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. Yes, Lelawa?
If you, for example, are on a website and it says there's a button and you have to click it if you read the terms and conditions, is it lying if you didn't read it? Or because if it's a person, you could say, yeah, I looked at it or something like that. But there's no person behind that. It's just a machine. So how can you decide if it's lying or not?
Right. So this is a good question. I think in the time of the Buddha, there wasn't anything like that. So maybe he did not explain about this, but I'll try to ask my teacher. But usually, when we click the button we think of the consequences. We said read and then we didn't. So responsibility is ourselves. No, let's say we are selling all our information without knowing. So we're not harming anyone. So those lying, usually when it is considered lying, then it is also because of what we said that is untrue. We harm someone. So that is lying also, no? We intentionally say something that is not true. So somebody does not get what he or she should get, or like harm them. Like in that case, it is more serious. So I think this red is not so serious, and maybe it's not really lying, because we're not like, there is no, as you said, no someone there for us to say something untrue there, to communicate that information. Okay. Yes, Amar?
Yeah, this is in regards to, like, they are like, like the person in the vegetative state, right? It was artificially, like in the hospital, like, you are making them alive, right? So pulling a plug, does that consider like, killing?
Yes. Yes, that's why my teacher, he always says that before you consider to plug in yourself or to plug any other relatives or friends, be very careful, because when you unplug it, it is considered killing.
Yeah. You're basically tampering, like, the natural process. When you start tampering the natural process, isn't it itself is a akusala?
Depends if the idea was loba, like wanting to attach or grasping or not wanting the person to die, then it is akusala, no?
Yeah. Right.
Loba or dosa or whatever, if it is.
I have a follow-up question, I guess, on this topic. So as Buddhists, do you think it's best to sign a DNR form, like do not resuscitate, or not?
Yeah, personally, I would, but I will not suggest it for anyone. I mean, I cannot say that this is good to do, this is not good to do. This is decision of everyone, and everyone has to consider their own situation and think what they want to do. No?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
I have a question about killing living beings. So usually the treatment suggested for like head lice without killing is like, shaving your head and all that. But would that be considered also killing because you'd like starve the lice or whatever, and they would eventually die as a result anyway?
It's best we go to our intention of what is our intention. If our intention is to be free from free from this sickness, or like I'm not trying to kill them, but if I have to heal from this situation, then that is what I must do. So I do not think that it is considered as panatipata, but the intention is most important. Intention is not like really to killing them, but to keep oneself clean or healthy,
Okay. So a follow-up to that question, you mentioned that like dewormers, like getting rid of parasites, that would also constitute killing. But what if like the parasites are ejected while they're alive? Would that also be considered killing, like the worms or whatever, they come out alive and you throw them into a garden or something? I don't know.
I also think that this kind of, as I said, nothing is always perfect. Now, we cannot 100% avoid any kind of death of anyone, of any being. Say, of course, in this situation, if there is parasite inside our body, to keep us healthy, we must do something about it. Then we need to do something. And then the parasite, if it came out from the body, it may die, yeah? So, but it is necessary to do. Again, is the intention. We are trying to keep healthy. We're not trying to kill them. But just like when we are eating vegetables, some beings may die because of that process. But then we cannot say that we don't eat anything. So it is being a human is a little bit like that. So we cannot avoid everything to its entirety. So we just try our best to not intentionally do harm or to kill any being. That's the best we can do. But here and there, something must happen. But without a bad intention, those karma are not very serious. So say we don't have the intention to kill those let's say the parasite or whatever. The intention was not to kill them. So in that case, it's not considered panatipata. Those are not very serious karma that is gonna give us a very, very bad result as well.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Anyone else? Anything? No? Okay. So in that case, we will close here today. Share merits and also dedicate our effort for the attainment of Nibbana. Itam no punyam Nibbana sa pachayo hotu. Itam no punyam Nibbana sa pachayo hotu. Itam no punyam Nibbana sa pachayo hotu. Itam no punyam savasatanam vajimam. Itam no punyam savasatanam vajima. Itam no punyam savasatanam vajima. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Same time, 12 o'clock. Well, my time.